you're using a smartphone as a PC and you're able to use the phone through an MHL connection to a MHL monitor from Samsung. And what we have done here is the phone is connected to the monitor through an MHL display, and using a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, we can actually use the phone's Wi-Fi or 3G, 4G network and get on the internet. And what this really does is it allows the phone to act as a PC.
So it's just mirroring exactly the same.
It is just mirroring the screen.
Isn't that rescaling the resolution for the display?
That's right.
The UI?
So the UI is being mirrored from the phone to the display and being scaled to the 1080p resolution that's on the display itself.
So does that mean that's a 1080p UI, or is it still kind of like the same
yes, the
UI as here?
The UI is basically being scaled. The UI is being generated according to the resolution of the mobile phone display. But if you want to show a high-def video, you can certainly go to select any video and select any 1080p content. Alright, and now the resolution coming out of the video is in fact 1080p resolution because the content is recorded and it's no longer generating the UI resolution, it's the video resolution of the content and also the video link.
Alright, so could it also work for the UI? Something needs to be hacked on the UI for that to work as well on the UI?
Right, so if you want to hack into the mobile phone, you can certainly generate or regenerate the UI at a much higher resolution to fit the larger display resolution. That's something that can be generated.
So what's the status with the MHL right now?
Well, April earlier this year, we actually released the latest version of MHL specification, which is 2.0 specification. With the release of the new specification, what MHL has added to the spec is actually the ability to support native 3D modes. Okay, 1.0 defined HD video link up to 1080p 60 resolution. With MHL 2.0, device manufacturers like TV manufacturers, mobile manufacturers can now support 3D capability directly from a phone to a TV. In addition to that, the MHL 2.0 specification will require TV or display manufacturer to output more power to charge the mobile device. In 1.0, the minimum requirements for display output power is 0.5 amps over 5 volts, which is 2.5 watts.
Like a normal USB link, right?
That's right. For 2.0, that minimum power has been increased to 0.9 amps over 5 volts, which is 4.5 watts. So it's almost doubling the amount of power mobile phones through MHL can get out of the TV to increase charging, to decrease charging times.
How much is the maximum that a phone can be charged with today?
Well, there is no maximum defined in MHL specification.
Are there phones like with 1.5 or something?
So the maximum capacity for charger typically 1.5 amps, and that's specifically for very large tablets with big batteries, right? But typical USB charger is 0.9 amps. Now you basically have the same type of power charging capacity from a TV as you would a standard USB charger.
But there won't be any phones, so there are no phones with 1.5 today?
The phone sometimes has 1.5, just depends on how big the battery. The Motorola Droid Max, for example, has an extra large battery, and I believe that requires a larger charger, right, with higher capacity.
That charger and that cable, right? Also,
that's
it's important
correct.
to have the right cable that gets enough charge through.
Right. So any MHL cables today will be able to support the higher capacity charging power. So there's no need to change a cable between MHL 1.0 and 2.0. Okay.
And the iPad 3 uses 1.5, no amps.
That I'm not sure.
Huge battery, but it might be like kind of like the trend that more and more Android devices will have bigger batteries, so they will want more.
That's right. So even with the 0.9 amp, right, the MHL power from a TV can still charge, tablets with larger battery. It's just that the charging time will take a little bit longer, right? Just because you don't have a 2 amp charger doesn't mean you can't charge the mobile device battery.
But if they want, they could crank it up and allow 2 amps, 1.5
Sure.
amp, and all that. Anything they want.
Absolutely, right? So even the MHL 1.0 displays today, the minimum is set at 0.5 amps, but many of the display manufacturers supporting MHL actually outputs almost 1 amp today, irrespective of the MHL 2.0 specification.
And if you output 1 amp and the phone only wants 0.5, it's not going to burn up or something,
It's
right?
not going to burn up. There's circuits inside the phone that basically will take as much power as necessary, right, to charge a mobile battery, right? So it doesn't automatically just takes all the power. It takes what's necessary from a charger, well, in this case, an MHL 2.0 display.
So let's check that demo over there. What is that?
So this demo is what we're doing is this is a LG Nitro HD. Okay, this is an LTE smartphone from LG that supports MHL also, and this actually has a 720p resolution on the display itself. Okay, and now it's outputting MHL video, okay, through the micro USB connector, driving a LG PC monitor, also supporting MHL. And the demonstration we're showing here, basically we're showing that smartphone can also be used as a gaming console. Okay, and the way it works is that the phone itself will be generating all the gaming content, rendering the video
In 1080p?
in 1080p. Right? This one is 720p because the screen is 720p, but the video connected to a monitor certainly is a 1080p resolution. And what we're doing now is, instead of using the touch panel control and rotation, we are using a Bluetooth remote controller, a gaming controller. This device is called the Z-Mode.
Z-Mode, that's cool.
Okay.
How long is the battery long for this?
The battery is very long. It uses standard AAA batteries. Okay. And there are specific games that's qualified to be used with the Z-Mode. This is one of the Beyond Enith is one of the popular games that could utilize the Z-Mode gaming controller. And what you can see now is that you can use the remote the gaming controller wirelessly to play games. Okay.
Alright.
Okay. So the point here is that mobile devices are becoming very, very, very powerful. It replicates a PC. In this case, it replicates all the capabilities of a gaming console. And next over there, you can a smartphone can also be used as a set-top box for Blu-ray player. Okay. So this is a HTC One X, the latest flagship phone from HTC. It's got a quad-core processor from NVIDIA, along with a 720p screen.
Pretty nice.
And now it's outputting video in 1080p from the phone and connected to the TV itself. Okay? So the point here is that your mobile device has all the capability of a set-top box or Blu-ray player, and you can use it for home digital entertainment. Right? And one of the major functions of MHL is that when you connect your phone to a DTV, there's a special function in MHL called remote control protocol. And what that does is allows the consumer to use the TV remote control that comes with the MHL TV, and this is a Samsung MHL TV. Use that TV remote control and actually navigate through the UI and the application inside the phone itself.
How much data does that transfer back to the phone?
Well, the control bus is 1 megabits per second, but the IR remote control only requires very little data, right? It's in 100 bytes per second, very small.
But the 1 megabit per second, could you use it for something else, or?
It can. I mean, you can use theoretically you can use a lot of different things, but today it's not being used that way. It's really used for different functions such as remote control. It's for DDC communication. So other command and control functions.
What is DDC?
DDC is a displayed data channel, and what that does is allows the source device to read the data or the information about the display, what the capabilities are. So the DDC channel is a standard that allows TV's monitor to tell the source device, hey, I'm a 1080p monitor, I'm a 1080p TV, I can support multi-channel audio. So the control bus inside MHL can support the DDC channel communication. It can also support the remote control protocol.
But you don't need 1 megabit for that.
Well, you combine many different functions into one single wire, right? So you don't require 1 megabits per second, but you have DDC, you got remote control protocol, along with other things that communication needs to be supported.
Could you, in theory, support USB hosting at 1 megabit?
USB host again supports 480 megabits per second versus 1 megabit, right?
Could you have like some kind of basic USB host just for keyboard, mouse, and a few things?
Theoretically, there's enough bandwidth probably to support keyboard and mouse, but there's going to have to be different standards, have hardware, software needs to be changed to utilize that. But today it's just not defined and it's not being used.
But could the same hardware that is now do some of it, like just basic keyboard, mouse, without changing hardware?
As of today, no, you can't do that. Right? You can't take a HTC One X phone that's in production, upgrade the firmware to allow you to do that. I don't believe
there's no firmwares, right? But if somebody did, if somebody did a firmware, could it happen or?
I don't believe so. Right.
So for now, it's a Bluetooth keyboard mouse.
That's right, Bluetooth keyboard mouse, and then the control bus channel is actually being used for remote control protocol and the DDC communication also.
And can stream content over Wi-Fi from UPnP and all that stuff, just Wi-Fi at home.
Sure, so you have a Wi-Fi connection that's decoupled from the MHL link. So what you could do with a phone is use Wi-Fi to stream content from the cloud, right? So the cloud will deliver whatever movie you want to the phone. The phone application processor decodes that video and outputs to the TV using MHL connection.
So that's Wi-Fi, but if you want an Ethernet gigabit connection, you would need a new MHL spec as well.
That's correct. So
that's like the USB host.
That's right. So you need a separate specification. You need a separate, definition of how those kind of things will work with each other. Could
the little connector, that's the micro USB size, right? Could that, in theory, do everything?
There still have to be some major re-architecture of different things, right?
Which things?
The different technologies. I can't tell you today that what we need to change simply because we haven't really looked at that, right? So today, for example, this phone, right, uses the micro USB connector, and there's only 5 pins, and there is a very little number of pins to support different functionalities, right? If this phone has a 12-pin connector, you can put many different things onto that same connector because there's different pins, but that's independent of the MHL technology. You can always put stuff in parallel to support simultaneous USB host,
USB 3 host,
USB 3 host, right?
Yeah.
To support many different functionalities.
So it'd be nice to have USB 3 host, gigabit LAN, and what else is there? I don't know.
USB 2, USB 3, Ethernet. Although
the Intel thing, I forgot the name.
Intel thing is called Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
Right.
You would add that as well? Another pin?
That's really not up to us. It's Thunderbolt we don't control. That's an Intel thing, right? If somebody wants to put a proprietary connector supporting Thunderbolt, MHL side by side, that's a device OEM decision, and we would just support that to make sure the MHL functionality functions as defined. But that's independent of MHL.
So if there was a, let's say, MHL 3 with 12 pins, all the normal micro USB cables would work as well, and it's just...
Well, micro USB is 5 pins, right? If you define something with more pins, it's not going to work.
But can you still plug the old one just to get the basic functionality of basically connecting USB and charging and stuff like that, and MHL2 might work? Like, can they be synchronized, or you would need to get new cables no matter what?
I think if you have new pins, more functionality, you probably need new cables. Right. So we're talking in theory, and I can't tell you yes, no, it's possible, not possible. I think we're throwing a lot of different, maybes. Can you do this? Can you do that? If there's customer demand for specific functionalities and they ask us to do something in MHL 3.0 as a spec, or they come to solo communities for that specific demand for feature sets, then we can support it. We can actually come up with different ideas and concepts.
So are there lots of concepts with accessories for MHL?
Right, so accessory goes from, little adapter dongles, right? There's docking cradles, right? There's VGA adapters, many different type of adapters.
VGA adapter?
VGA adapter, right? So I can show you later one of those adapters I'm showing, right? So, MHL is different than HDMI, it's different than VGA, but there's a lot of legacy HDMI and VGA monitors out there. So you do want to connect to any displays that you want, and this is a sample of a MHL to VGA adapter.
What is this one?
This is audio, okay? So what you would do here is that you have this connector here connected to MHL phone. This is the micro USB connector. Outputs video, and there's a MHL to VGA converter circuit in here. And because VGA does not include audio in the connector, this is why you need a separate audio connector to output audio.
Okay, so you connect mini jack to mini jack from the phone to here.
Right, so you connect this portion of it here to the micro USB connector. The video from the phone comes through to this cable here, and it converts MHL back to VGA. And it also takes the audio from the MHL link and outputs analog audio as well through this connector. So this is just a standard 3.5mm audio connector.
Ah, cool. So everything goes, all the audio goes through the MHL. You cannot have
Audio
mini jack and by itself on the MHL devices. It takes over everything. It also takes the mini jack.
Mini jack is.
I mean, like, could you output the audio from here at the same time as the HDMI?
That depends on the system manufacturer. It's nothing to do with MHL actually.
Okay. All right, and you have some other. It's just a normal MHL cable.
This is an MHL to HDMI adapter. So this is basically, this will go into the MHL jack inside a phone, outputs MHL, and then this will output HDMI to connect to HDMI TV.
Okay. And this is a standard.
This is also an MHL adapter. Okay. Again, very similar to this one. Here, except that it's a different form factor. This has a long cable, and this one has a short cable. Okay, it provides the same functionality.
So in theory, could manufacturers come and say we want to make a HDMI dock, what's called a special MHL dock, or designed for like next to the bed or laptop?
In theory, if they had those concepts, absolutely.
So what would they need to do? They need to talk with MHL?
They can talk to MHL to get some ideas. They can talk to Silicon Image or any MHL adapter that can provide silicon solutions on their concept and implement that concept in any form factor. Right? They can do an adapter. There's also cradles. You want to give a cradle? There's cradle in production today, and there's many different ODMs with different industrial designs. And I'll show you exactly a couple of them here. So this one is a HTC Evo 3D cradle. Okay, it takes an MHL and outputs HDMI.
So that only fits their phone.
It only fits their phone, and this is a mock-up from a company locally here called JCE. There's their ODM, and what they have done is a mock-up of a cradle. This obviously has an HDMI output, and the micro USB connector is here to provide power for the circuit. But they have a little micro USB connector here that could slide up and down.
Nice.
That
so
allows
any phone.
You can support many different phones with that.
Nearly all. All the ones that have it under, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's cool.
Right. So.
Could you do the same for laptop dock, like?
Potentially, yeah. But the keyboard mouse is still going to be the issue, right? With Bluetooth, you can certainly do that. Yes.
Cool.